Hello, hello, hello. My name is Brandon Sellers. I am the Vice President of Marketing here at FranShares. Here to talk to you about a topic that I think is really interesting. Best low-cost franchises to invest in 2024. There are a lot of really great franchises to invest in, but a lot of times they cost so much money. You have to have so much cash liquid and kind of available, and then to invest in them, you end up having to have $1 million, $2 million, $3 million to kind of get these things up and running, which not everyone has, but everyone deserves an opportunity to be able to become a franchise owner. So we're going to talk about what are the best franchises to invest in that are, of course, low cost. What do we mean by low cost? Generally speaking, that's going to be a investment midpoint of less than 100,000. These can have a range, so sometimes it's a range of 60,000 to maybe 130,000, depending on a lot of things, such as your location, the type of build out you do, etc. But generally speaking, these are going to be a investment midpoint of less than 100,000, and we are of course getting all this information from the FDD documents that you can obviously are going to be pretty publicly available. Things that we're looking at, obviously it has to be low cost, right? But we also want to kind of look at revenue potential. We're going to be looking at growth of the industry, growth of the brand, things like pandemic and just overall kind of recession resiliency, the leadership at the actual brands, how are they managed, how are the processes kind of built out, and how manageable is the business going to be, right? You need to be an absolute expert in this, or do they provide the training that you need to be able to be successful there? So that's the overall criteria that we're kind of looking at. Let's jump into the actual brands that we are kind of thinking about here. Number one is going to be Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, actually. And this one we love. $99,000 overall investment midpoint, range of $61,000 to $137,000 based on the 2023 FDD. They don't really specify actually net worth and crush requirements, so we're assuming that's going to be pretty low there. Royalty ends up being about 6%, 0 to 1.5% advertisement fee. So really pretty reasonable, I think, on the royalty and advertisement fee standpoint. What we absolutely love about this is based on their FDD, you're looking at an average revenue about $916,000. So when you kind of look at what is that investment to what the revenue can be, it's on the high end. Obviously, you need to go ahead and turn that into profit. Profit numbers aren't listed out in the FDD, so we can't speak specifically about those. But as you're looking into that franchise, definitely have conversations with current Zs. Talk to those folks about what do profit margin actually look like. If it's reasonable, obviously, to get 20-25% margin, you could make that return on investment very, very quickly. We also like that this is a recession-resistant industry, strong support system, well-built out network, processes, brand recognition's all really, really strong with Benjamin Franklin Plumbing. And you don't really need plumbing experience. I'm sure it's super helpful, but they definitely specialize in working with Zs that don't necessarily have a ton of plumbing experience. So Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, definitely one to look at. Then we have Mr. Sparky. Mr. Sparky is a really interesting opportunity. Very similar in terms of overall investment range, about $61K to $137K in terms of the range. $99K investment midpoint, right? So you should be under that $100K total investment. They don't really speak to overall net worth and cash requirements either. So again, we're assuming that's pretty low. Very similar, 60% royalty, 0 to 1.5% overall kind of advertisement fee. Their revenue is actually a tad higher, right? So it's again, 1.3 million. Obviously very strong. If you, again, are able to get 15, 20, 25% in terms of overall EBITDA, overall margins, you're going to be a really strong opportunity with that 100K overall investment midpoint. They also offer some great training, both on-site and in person, actually. They provide you kind of one-on-one help from a field marketing standpoint and also coaching. And again, with Mr. Sparky, kind of that brand recognition is there. So we really like this overall opportunity also. Then let's talk about 1 hour heating and air conditioning. And a lot of these you see are home services, right? The thing that's awesome about home services is they tend to be recession resistant. No matter where the economy is, you're probably going to want your heating and air conditioning to work. You definitely have a lot of great opportunities there. $0 initial franchise fee. Again, $60K to about $140K in terms of total investment range. End up being about $100K in terms of an investment midpoint. So we think that's a really strong opportunity. Royalty and advertisement fee, again, 6%, 0 to 1.5%. Really strong opportunity. Average gross revenue, $1.2 million. And this is a brand that ranked number one by Entrepreneur Magazine for HVAC companies. Good sized network, 100K franchisees, over 375 locations. They do a great job from a training perspective. They don't necessarily expect you to have a ton of HVAC experience, obviously super helpful. They don't expect it. So it is a great brand to get into if you are desiring and expecting a little bit more from a training standpoint. We really like 1 hour heating and air conditioning. Now, PatchMaster. This one's pretty interesting, right? So you do have a bit of a franchise fee, $49K. Total investment range is about 86 to a 111 range, so a little bit tighter there. You end up having a midpoint of still about 100K, and that royalty is a little bit higher, 5 to 9%, advertising fee of 1%. Average revenue, about 306K. This is another high demand industry, generally pretty recession resistant. Brand here. I mean, you have Entrepreneur 500 lists all over the place. Best franchise, best in category, fastest growing, top home-based franchise. Decorated overall kind of franchise, and super fast growing. There are 14 franchise locations kind of in development right now. So it's one of those ones that's a little bit newer, definitely starting to spin up and grow a bit faster here. So we think, now of course, like the overall revenue is lower, so you got to feel a little bit better about, hey, can I get this to 25, 30, 35% in terms of that overall margins there. If you can feel pretty good about this, this is, again, I think a really good opportunity. Lastly, we have home team inspection services. Initial franchise fee, $45K to $65K. We have the total investment range of, 60 to $86K. That investment midpoint's lower, about $73,000. 6% royalty, 3% advertisement fee, average revenue, $288K. Again, this one's award winning, right? Number one home inspection franchise, 30 plus years in business, 200 locations. So these processes are dialed in. High in demand, just overall service. Whenever you sell a house, whenever you buy a house, you're gonna get an inspection. You're gonna wanna go with someone reputable. So if you get a great territory, I think this could be really, really interesting. Industry leading franchise. Whenever you're looking at a franchise, you definitely want to get industry leading, right? At least top 3, if not just kind of the number 1 spot. It's gonna be great from a brand standpoint. So we definitely think this is another really great opportunity. No matter where the economy is, you're going to want to feel really, really good about, am I going to be able to get 25, 30, 35% in terms of my bottom line margins to make me feel great about that. But if you can, and you end up making 100K a year, you're making that investment back that first year, and everything after that is just profit, right? So those are the 5 that we really, really like, that we're really looking into as a company ourselves. We definitely think these are worth checking out. Do your due diligence. This is a great start. There's a lot more work to do. Make sure that at the bottom line, you feel really good about getting 20, 25, 35% in terms of profit margins. But if you can do that, that overall ROI is going to be really, really high for you. So check those out. Feel free to also check out FranShares. We're going to be opening up awesome new opportunities potentially in these franchises for folks to invest in if you want to be completely passive. Check us out, and thank you for watching.